Hello folks, welcome back to my latest video. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel. I've reached over 100 subscribers by now, which I never could have imagined that would happen when I started this channel. So thank you very much. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, I make videos about different endurance sports like skating, skiing, cycling, stand-up paddleboarding, open water swimming and other related stuff. So if you are interested, please like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more of my content in the future. I would really appreciate it. And this would definitely help to grow my channel even further. Having said this, let's move on to today's topic. This time I did a longer tempo ride, mostly at race pace, which is zone 2, near the anaerobic threshold. I will elaborate on this topic for the rest of the video, so make sure to watch it till the end. I recorded this video during a 30+ k or 20 miles ride along the boundaries of the biggest national park in the Netherlands, the Hoge Veluwe. The course was on rolling terrain and mostly on bike paths with smooth surfaces, which is excellent for fitness and speed skating. So if you live in the Netherlands or you're on holidays in this beautiful wooded area, I can recommend this ride. I will leave the Strava link in the description below. During this ride I tried to keep my heart rate between 150 and 165 beats per minute as much as possible, which in my case is right in zone 2. Can be determined by 85 to 90% of the maximum heart rate. Like I said, this is the third episode of a series about general training principles and building endurance for fitness and speed skating. Of course, these principles are not only applicable for skating but also for cycling or other endurance sports. And if you haven't done already, I would recommend to watch the first 2 episodes too before this one. In these previous episodes I discussed the fundamentals and basic principles of endurance training, referring to the 3-zone training model of Stefan Seiler, using heart rate zones and rate of perceived exertion as guidelines to build endurance and speed in skating. In my last video I went into more detail about zone 1, or the low intensity zone. This zone is determined by heart rate below 85% of the maximum heart rate and between 1 and 4 on the 10-point RPE scale. Today's video is about training in zone 2 or moderate intensity zone. This zone is marked by the aerobic or first ventilatory threshold and the anaerobic or second ventilatory threshold. Zone 2 is the heart rate zone, during which you can sustain an effort for about 1 to 3 hours, so that's the zone at which you are performing during a half or full marathon or another long distance event. The heart rate in this zone lies roughly between 85 and 90% of the maximum heart rate. The shorter the event, the closer it will reach the higher end of zone 2, near the anaerobic threshold. The rate of perceived exertion is around 5 or 6 on a 10-point scale. The higher end of this zone is determined by the anaerobic threshold, that is also the level of effort one can maintain for about an hour. As the main source of energy in zone 1 is fat, the ratio between fat and carbohydrates during oxidation changes towards the latter in zone 2. Although sugars are burned in the presence of oxygen and lactate is formed, the body is still able to get rid of it, so muscle fatigue is not likely to happen. However, as the glycogen stores in the muscles and liver are limited, it is necessary to refuel during a longer event or race to avoid running out of energy, which will result in the bunking and will be detrimental for your performance in the long run. Over the years, athletes are moving away from training in zone 2, the so-called sweet spot training, in favor of polarized training. While sweet spot training predominantly occurs in zone 2, Polarized training is characterized by training in Zone 1 and 3, avoiding Zone 2 as much as possible. Zone 2 is also sometimes called the gray zone. Training in Zone 2 too often for a long duration is considered to be too stressful to the body without the major benefits and physical adaptations for further improvement. Beginners and time-crunched athletes tend to do their training too much and too often in this zone though, whereby they are training too hard during a recovery session and too easy when they are supposed to train at very high intensities. Unfortunately, this type of training will soon lead to a plateau. However, there's still a place for training in Zone 2 though. The beginner will definitely benefit from training at high intensities, taking in consideration not to train too often in this particular zone. Training in Zone 2 can also be beneficial for more experienced athletes, as it represents training at race pace. Training at race pace is hard and stressful, but there are several advantages. It is a good way to get comfortable and familiar with skating at specific heart rate and to practice your fuel strategy, so you're not likely to run into surprises come race day. Other than that, since conditions during a race or a marathon event can vary along the way, it is important to train in all three zones. So, I've touched the most important pros and cons of training in Zone 2. I hope it was interesting to you and it helps to achieve your goals. I will finish my ride for today and make sure that I recover well, because quads, hams and glutes are tired and can use some tender love and care. Besides, it is rest and sleep that makes you stronger. It's not the training by itself. Anyway, stay tuned for the next episode of this series about basic training principles for endurance sports. In that video I'll get into more detail about how high intensity training in Zone 3 can benefit your endurance. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and you won't miss my future uploads. Any questions or suggestions are welcome. Leave them in the comment box below and I'll be happy to answer them. Hope to see you next time. Ciao!